But I want to talk about Leicester because it's been a turbulent few days for them as well. No signings in so far, loads of speculation surrounding the futures of lots of key players as well. One of them is James Madison. Newcastle United circling for Madison. What's the latest, Michael? What are you hearing?
Is this potentially going to be the latest saga? James Madison, a fantastic player, but Leicester have rejected a second bid from Newcastle United for Madison. Newcastle's offer understood to be worth more than £40 million, with Leicester valuing Madison 20 million more than that, at just around 60 million. Now, Newcastle deciding whether to return with an improved offer or focus on other targets.
Yeah, it's an interesting. The fee's an interesting one because there's conflicting reports, I think, from all sides of the deal, which is interesting. Some suggesting that it's 40 million, that's inclusive of add-ons, and other reports early on suggesting it was higher than that. But what do we think about this one, guys? I mean, Leicester have done this in previous windows. We've seen it with Mahrez, Maguire, went for 80 million to Manchester United. Now, if you want Leicester's player, you've got to pay sort of a premium, don't you? I mean, what do we think?
Well, it's interesting that Newcastle aren't being sort of held to ransom with this because, you know, we know the situation with Newcastle. We know they've got a lot of money. And from Leicester's side of it, they've always been quite smart in terms of, OK, we bring in a player. They spent a decent amount of money on James Madison initially. Let them grow, let them develop, and then sell them on. What's interesting for me is the fact that there isn't the replacement that seems to be, you know, clear and ready to go for Leicester.
Yeah, there's always that temptation with money that you can make some scattergun decisions, but I don't think Newcastle have done that. If you look at Newcastle United's signings since January, they've all been calculated, well thought out. There's the graphic here. I mean, the first one, what a player. I think he fits into any Big Six side, Bruno Guimaraes. What a player, Pete. I mean, you know, Newcastle fans will be absolutely delighted with him. Another player, you know, you've reported on for months on end before Newcastle signing was Sven Botman. Newcastle continued. And again, not being held to ransom, particularly with Lille. AC Milan were in there as well, and Newcastle ended up getting him. So Kieran Trippier, that was a great signing as well. So I look at them and you'd say most of those, pretty much all of them really, have been a success. So that's Newcastle's message, isn't it, Pete, at the moment? You know, we will be prepared to walk away if we can't get the valuation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly the feeling. They've got a model. The idea is that they want to spend around 40 million max. They maybe go a little bit higher. They've got a sort of wage structure in place.
Ekitike as well, you know, going to PSG, but obviously that was a bit of a saga in the end, was it?
Newcastle offer more than Paris Saint-Germain, but again, it was around that 30 sort of million pound mark, I think. That's where they want to go. The minute it doesn't look like they'd be tempted to go up to the 60 million sort of and so on. It depends whether Leicester would be prepared to meet them in the middle. I think would be key to all this. Eddie Howe's been talking this week as well, and he's had a response when asked about